chapter
51, chapter 23.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Chaitanya Charitamrta, chapter 23, text 51. The subordinate ecstatic smiling, dancing, and singing, as well as different manifestations in the body. The natural ecstasies, such as being strong, are considered among the subordinate ecstasies. Anubhava purport. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.2.1 describes Anubhavas as follows. Anubhavas tu chitas sta bhavanam avo avadaka te bahir vikriya praya prakto abhaswaram kaya. The many the many external ecstatic symptoms or bodily transformation, which indicate ecstatic emotions in the mind and which are also called ubhasvara, udvasvara, are the udvasvaras, are the anubhavas, or a subordinate ecstatic expression of love. Some of these symptoms are dancing, falling down and rolling on the ground, singing and crying very loudly, bodily uh, contrast, contraction, loud vibrations, even deep breathing, discreet, discreet for others, the fourthing of salvia, mad, laughter, spitting, hiccup, hiccups, and other similar symptoms. All the symptoms are divided in two divisions, Sita and Tripsana. Sita and Tripsana. Singing by yawning and so on are called Sita. Dancing and bodily contraction are called Chapana. In this Anubhasya, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes the following verse from the Vedic literature. Oh, Udvasante Swadhamante Praktodhasvaramudhani Nivi Uttarya Dhamila Swar Sravanam Smasanam Gatrate Jabrat Agas Angranasya Pulatva Nispad Tema Mata. The ecstatic symptoms manifest in the external body of person in ecstatic love and called Udvasar by learned scholars. Some of these are scanning, slackening of the belt and the dropping of the cloth and hair. Others are bodily contraction, yearning, a trembling of the front portion of the nostrils, heavy breathing, hiccuping, and hiccuping and falling down and rolling on the ground. These are the external manifestation of emotional stamba and other symptoms are described in Madhya 4.167, text 52, translation. There are other ingredients being with complete despondency, and jubilation. Although altogether there are 33 varieties, and when these combine, the mellow becomes very wonderful, perfect. Nirveda Hasa and other symptoms are explained in Madhya lila 14.167. These translational elements Vyabhichar are described in the Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu 2.4.1 as follows. These are 33 test, 33 transitory elements known as Vyabhichar, ecstatic emotion. They especially wonder about permanent sentiments as assistant. They they are to be known by words, by different symptoms seen in the limbs and in other parts of the body and the peculiar conditions of the heart. Because they set in a motion the progress of the permanent statements, permanent sentiments. They are specifically called sanya, sanctuary or impelling principles. These impelling principles rise up and fall back in the permanent sentiments of ecstatic law, like waves in an ocean of ecstasy. Consequently, they are called Vyavicharya. Takes 53 translation. There are five transcendental values: neutrality, servitorship, friendship, parental affection, and the conjugal love, which is also known as the mellow sweetness. Conjugal love excels all the others. Takes 54. The position of neutrality increases up the point where one appreciates love of Godhead. The mellow, the so servitorship gradually increases to the points of spontaneous love of Godhead. Translation takes 50. After the mellows of servitorship, there are the mellows of friendship and parental love, which increased to subordinate spontaneous love. The greatness of the love found in friends like Subala extend to the standard of ecstatic love of Godhead. Purport. Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that the mellow of neutrality increases to simple love of God. In the mellows of servitorship, servitorship, love of God had increased beyond that affection, counter love, anger based of love, based on love, love and attachment. Similarly, the mellow of friendship increased to affection, control, counter love, love affection, and sub attachment is the same with the mellow of parental affection. The special feature of the mellow of friendship uh, exhibited by personalities like Subala is that the increase from parental affection to counter love to spontaneous attachment to sub subordinate attachment, and finally the ecstasy, where all ecstatic symptoms continuously exist. Text 56. There are two divisions of each of the five mellows: yoga connections and the yoga separations. Among the mellows of friendship and parental affection, there are many divisions of conceptions and separations. Purport. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there are 3.2.95. These divisions are described. Aho, Ayoga, Yoga, Ego, Vedsesha, Pravedo, Kathiyo, Udhav. In the velas of Bhakti Yoga, there are two stages, Ayoga and Yoga. Ayoga, Yoga is described in the Bhakti Ras Ramakrishna 3.2.94 as follows. Sambhavaya Hare Dhiraj Ayoga iti Kathayate Ayoga Ayoga Jan Manaskatam Tadgune Anusandhaya Tadprapte Upayachita Sarvesmi Katya Kriya. Learned scholars in the science of Bhakti Yoga says that when there is an absence of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, separation takes place. In the stage of yoga separation, the mind is filled with Krishna consciousness and is fully absorbed in the throw of Krishna. In that stage, the devotee searches out the transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is said that in the stage of separation, all the devotees in the different mellows are always active in thinking of ways to attain Krishna's association. The word yoga connection is thus described in the Bhakti Rasamrita 3.2.129. Krishna Sangam Yamasu Sayoga iti Kirtate. When one meets Krishna directly, that is called yoga. In the transcendental mellows of nativity and survivorship, there is a similar division of yoga and yoga, but they are not very related. The division of yoga and yoga are always existing in the five mellows. However, in the transcendental mellows of friendship and parental affection, there are many varieties of yoga and yoga. The varieties of yoga are thus described. Yoga vi kathita siddhis yuste tosti sushtir iti trida. Yoga connection is the three types success, satisfaction, and performance. Bhakti Rasamrita 3.2.180.29. The division of Ayoga separation are described as follows. Utkantitam Utkantitam Viyogasthiti Ayogapi Didachate. Thus, yoga has two divisions, longing and separation. Bhakti Rasamrita 3.2.95, page 59, translation. Only in the conjugal are there two excessive symptoms called Rudha at the advanced and Adhi Rudha, highly advanced. The advanced ecstasies are found among the queens of Dwaraka, and the highly advanced ecstasies are found among the gopis. Purport. The Adhirudha ecstasies are explained in the Ujjvala Nilamani Staibhavo Parigraha 170. Rudrakshibhyo Nubhavedjaya Kamavi of the Visishta. Yatra Nubhava Drishyante Sadhirohim Nigadhyati. The very sweet affection of conjugal love increase through affection, counter love attachment, sub attachment, ecstasy, and highly advanced ecstasy, Mahabhava. The platform of Mahabhava includes Rudra, Rudra and Adiruddha. These platforms are possible only in Kanjan law. Advanced ecstasy is found in called Madhya and separation is called Mohan. Text 59 translation. On the Madhana platform, there are kissing and many other symptoms which are which are unlimited. In the Mohan stage, there are two divisions, Udagurna and Unsitedness and the Chitra Jalpa, varieties of mad muscle stuff. For, for further information, see Madhya Lila 187. Text 16. Translation. Mad immersion struck include 10 divisions called Prajalpa and other name. An example of this is the 10 verses spoken by Srimati Radharani called the Song to the Bumblebee. For purport. Imaginative matters known as Chitrajalpa can be divided into 10 categories. Rajalpa, Parijalpa, Vijalpa, Ujalpa, Sanjalpa, Abajalpa, Avijalpa, Ajalpa, Pratijalpa, and Sujalpa. There are no English equivalents for the different features of a Jalpa imaginative term. Text 61 translation. Ud, Udgurna, unseedness, and vivasa, cheta, boastful activities are the sweet of transcendental madness. In separation from Krishna and experiencing the manifestation of Krishna and and one thing oneself to be Krishna. Text 62. In conjugal law, Sagara, there are two different meetings and separation on the platform of meeting. There are ultimate varieties that we beyond description purpose. Vipralamba is described in the Ujjwala Nilamani Vipralamba Prakarana 3 to 4. भक्तयोर्भवो युक्तयोर्भक्तयोमितः अभिस्तलेन्दन अनुवत्र प्रकाशते स विप्रलम्ब विदेह संभोग उन्नति करोकः न विना विप्रलम्बेन सुभगः पुष्टिर्मनुष्यते. When the lover and the beloved meet, they're called yukta, connected. Previous of their meeting, they are called ayukta, not connected. Whether connected or not connected, this extensive emotion arising due to not being able to embrace and kiss each other, as described, called Vipralam. This Vipralamba helped nourishes emotions at the time of meeting. Similarly, Sambhoga is described in the following verse quoted by the Vedic literature Vasila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in this Anubhashya. Darshanalinga, Darshanalinga Dino, Anukulena Nisevayo, Yonar Alosan Arohar, Bhava Sambha Go Trate. Meeting each other and embracing each other are aimed at the bringing about the happiness of the lover and the beloved. When this stage becomes increasingly jubilee, jubilant, the resilient expressive emotion is called sambhaga. When again sambhaga is divided into four categories. One, Purvaraga, Anantara. After Purvaraga attachment prior to meeting, sambhaga is called brief Sankirta. Two, Mana Anantara. After mana, anger based on law, sambhaga is called encroached sankirna. Three, kinchit dura pravasam anantara. After a little distance away for some time, sambhaga is called accomplished. Four, Sudura Prabhasa Vindara. After being far away, Sambhaga is called perfection. Samra Dhima. The meeting of these laws that take place in the dream also have these four divisions. Text 63. Translation. Vipralamba has four divisions: Purva, Raga, Mana, Prabhasa, and Prema, Vaichitaya. Purport. Purva Raga is described in the Ujjvala Namani Vipralamba Prakaram 5. Ratirya, Ratirya Sangama, Purva, Purvam Darsana, Swavam Nadija. Tayo Tayorumeyaji Prajaneha Purvaraga Sauchate. When attachment produced in the lava and before their meeting by singing, hearing, and by seeing, hearing, and so on becomes very palatable by the mixture of four ingredients such as Vibhava and Anuhasya. This is called a Purva. The word mane is also described in the Ujjvala from Prakaran 68. Dam दम प्रत्ययरुपभाव एकत्र सतर सतरपि अनुगतः स्व सवितश्लेषविक्षरि निरोधी मने उच्यते. Mana is the word used to indicate the mode of the lover and the beloved experience, whatever they are in the one place or in the different places. This mode abstract, they are looking at each other and embracing each other, despite the fact that they are attached to each other. Prabhasu is also explained in the Ujjalanidamani Vikrama Prakarana 139 as follows. Purva Sangha Tayo Yono Bhavet Bhavet Deshanta Taradivehi Vaiva Vaivadhanam Tu Yat Prajana Sahasasa Itrate. Prabhas is word used to indicate the separation of lovers who were previously intimate associated. This separation is due to their being in different places. Similarly, Prema Vaichitya is also explained in the Ujjvala Nilamani Vikramamba Prakaran 134. Priyasya Sani का सनिकर से भी प्रेमोत्तर प्रेमोत्तर प्रेमाकर्ष स्वभावतः यह विलयसेन धियर्थिता प्रेम वैचित्र्य उच्यते. Prema Vaichitya is a word used to indicate ambulance abundance of love that bring about grief from fear, separation, although the lover is in the present. Page 64. Of the four kinds of separation, there are three Purvaranga, Ravas, and Manas and Mana are celebrated in the Srimad Radharani. Celebrated the Srimad Radharani Gopis. In Dwaraka, the queen's feeling, a Prema Vaishitya are very prominent. Text 65, translation. My dear friend, Kurari is now night and Lord Sri Krishna is sleeping. Lord Sri Krishna is sleeping. You yourself are not asleep or resting, but are lamenting. Should I presume that you like us are offered by the smiling, liberal, playful, playful glance of lotus eared Krishna? If so, your heart is deeply pierced. Is that why you are not showing these signs of a sleepless lamentation? Purport. These words of Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.4.15 was spoken by Lord Krishna's queens. Although they were with Krishna, they were still thinking of losing his company. Lord, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared as soon as the son of Nanda Maharaj, is the supreme hero in the all dealings. Similarly, Srimati Radharani is topmost heroine in all dealings. Translation, text 67. Krishna is the supreme personality of God himself, and he is the crown jewel of all heroines in Krishna. In Krishna, all transcendental good qualities are permanently situated. Purport. This verse is also found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.1.17, verse 68. The transcendental God, godless, the transcendental goddess Srimati Radharani is the direct counterpart of the Lord Sri Krishna. She is the central figure for all the goddess of person. She possesses all the attraction to attract the all attractive personality of Godhead. She is the primeval eternal potential of the Lord. Purpose. These texts is found in the Gautamaya Tantra Purana explanation see Adi Lila 4.83 to 95. Text 69 translation. The transcendental qualities of Lord Krishna are unlimited. Out of these 64 are considered permanent. The ears of the devotees are satisfied simply by hearing, and these qualities one after the other. Text 70. Krishna is the supreme hero as the most beautiful transcendental body. This body possesses all good features. It is radiant and very pleasing to the eyes. His body is powerful, strong, and youthful. Purport. This verse and the following six verses are also found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.1.23 to 29. Text 71. Krishna is the lingest of all wonderful languages. He is the truthful and very pleasing skipper. He is expert in speaking and he is very wise, learned scholar and genius. Text 72. Krishna is a very expert in the artistic enjoyment. He is a highly cunning expert, grateful and firmly determined in his vows. He knows how to deal to time, person, and country, and he sees through the scriptures and authoritative books. He is very clean and self-controlled. Text 73. Lord Krishna is steady, his senses are controlled, and he is he is forgiving, grave, and clear. He is also equal to all. Moreover, he is a magnanimous, religious, chivalrous, and kind. He is always respectful person. Text 74. Krishna is very simple and liberal. He is humble and bashful. He is the protector of the surrendered souls. He is very happy. He is always the well-wisher of his devotees. He is all auspicious and he is submissive to love. Text 75. Krishna is very influential and famous, and he is the object of attachment for the everyone. He is the center for the good and the virtuous. He is attractive and he is attracted to the mind of women, and he is worshipped by everyone. He is very rich. Text 76. Krishna is the supreme, and he is always glorified as the Supreme Lord and Controller. Thus, all the previously mentioned translation qualities are in him. The 50 qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead mentioned above are as deep as an ocean. In other words, they are difficult to fully comprehend. Take 77 translation. These qualities are sometimes very ma- minutely, minutely exhibited in the living being, but they are fully manifested in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. This verse is found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.1.30. Living entities are part of parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the Lord Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita 15.7. Mama eva jiva loke jiva bhuto sanatana mana sasta nirayani prakriti stani karsati. The living entities in this condition were my eternal fragmental parts. Due to condition life, they are struggling very hard with six senses, which included the mind. The qualities of Krishna are present in the living entity in it atomic quantities. A small portion of gold is certainly gold, but it cannot be equal to a gold mine. Similarly, the living entities have all the characteristic of the Supreme Personality of God in a minute quantity, but the living entity is never equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. God is therefore described as the Supreme Being, and the living entity is described as the Jiva. God is described as the Supreme Being, the chief of the all living beings, because he is supplying the necessities of all others. Eko Eko Vahanam Yo Vidayati Kamam. The Mayavadis mention that everyone is God, but but even if this philosophy is accepted, no one can mention that everyone is equal to the Supreme Godhead. Is envy, respect in every respect. All intelligent men maintain that everyone is equal to God or that everyone is God. Text 78 translation. Apart from these 50 qualities, there are five other qualities found in the Supreme Personality of Godhead that are partially partially present in the demigods like Shiva, purport. These verses and following seven verses are also found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.1.37 to 44.
Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, Madhya Lila, chapter 23, text 79 to 81. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. These qualities are: the Lord is always situated in His original position. He is omniscient. He is always fresh and youthful. He is concentrated form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. He is the possessor of all mystic perfection. There are another five qualities which exist in the Vaikuntha planets in Narayan, the Lord of Lakshmi. These qualities are also present in Krishna, but they're not present in demigods like Lord Shiva and in other living entities. These are: the Lord possesses inconceivable superpower. He generates innumerable universes from his body. He is the original source of all incarnations. He bestows salvation upon enemies he kills. He has the ability to attract exalted persons who are satisfied in themselves. Although these qualities are present in Narayan, the dominating deity of the Vaikuntha planets, they're even more wonderfully present in Krishna. Text 82, 83. Apart from these 60 transcendental qualities, Krishna has an additional 4 transcendental qualities which are not manifested even in the personality of Narayan. These are: Krishna is like an ocean filled with the waves of pastimes that evoke wonders within everyone in the three worlds. In his activities of conjugal love, he is always surrounded by his dear devotees who possess unequaled love for him. 3. He attracts the minds of all the three worlds with the melodious vibration of his flute. 4. His personal beauty and opulence are beyond compare. No one is equal to him, and no one is greater than him. Thus, the personality of Godhead astonishes all living entities, both moving and non moving, within the three worlds. He is so beautiful that he is called Krishna. Purport: Mayavadi philosophers who have a poor fund of knowledge simply dismiss the subject by explaining that Krishna means black, not understanding the qualities of Krishna. These atheistic rascals do not accept him as the personality of Godhead. Although the Lord is described and accepted by great personalities, acharyas, and sages, the Mayavadis still do not appreciate him. Unfortunately, at the present moment, human society is so degraded that people cannot even provide themselves with life's daily necessities. Yet they are captivated by Mayavadi philosophers and are being misled. According to the Bhagavad Gita, simply by understanding Krishna, one can get free from the cycle of birth and death. Tvaktva deham punarjanma naiti mam iti so Arjuna. Unfortunately, this great science of Krishna consciousness has been impeded by Mayavada philosophers who are opposed to the personality of Krishna. Those who are preaching this Krishna consciousness movement must try to understand Krishna from the statements given in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the nectar of devotion. 84, 85. Above Narayan, Krishna has four specific transcendental qualities. His wonderful pastimes, an abundance of wonderful associates who are very dear to him, like the gopis. His wonderful beauty and the wonderful vibration of his flute. Lord Krishna is more exalted than ordinary living beings and demigods like Lord Shiva. He's even more exalted than his personal expansion, Narayan. In all, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has 64 transcendental qualities in 4. 86. Similarly, Srimati Radharani has unlimited transcendental qualities, of which 25 are principal. Sri Krishna is controlled by these transcendental qualities of Srimati Radharani. 87 to 91. Srimati Radharani's 25 chief transcendental qualities are: 1. She is very sweet. 2. She is always freshly youthful. 3. Her eyes are restless. 4. She smiles brightly. 5. She has beautiful, auspicious lines. 6. She makes Krishna happy with her bodily aroma. 7. She is very expert in singing. 8. Her speech is charming. And 9. She is very expert in joking and speaking pleasantly. 10. She is very humble and meek. 11. She is always full of mercy. 12. She is cunning. 13. She is expert in executing her duties. 14. She is shy. 15. She is always respectful. 16. She is always calm. 17. She is always grave. 18. She is expert in enjoying life. 19. She is situated at the top level of ecstatic love. 20. She is the reservoir of loving affairs in Gokulam. 21. She is the most famous of submissive devotees. 22. She is very affectionate to elderly people. 23. She is very submissive to the love of her friends. 24. She is the chief gopi. 25. She always keeps Krishna under her control. In short, she possesses unlimited transcendental qualities, just as Krishna does. Purport. These verses are found in the Ujjvala Nilamani, Sri Radhika Prakarana 11 through 15. 92. The basis of all transcendental mellows is the hero and the heroine, and Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, are the best. 93. Just as Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani are the object and shelter of the mellows of conjugal love, respectively, so is the mellow of servitorship. Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj Nanda, is the object, and servants like Chitraka, Raktaka, and Patraka are the sheltered. Similarly, in the transcendental mellow of friendship, Lord Krishna is the object, and friends like Sridham, Sudan, and Subal are the shelter. In the transcendental mellows of parental affection, Krishna is the object, and Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj Nanda are the shelters. 94. Now, here how the mellows appear and how they are realized by devotees on different transcendental platforms. 95 to 98. For those who are completely washed of all material contamination by pure devotional service, who are always satisfied and brightly enlightened in the heart, who are always attached to understanding the transcendental meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam, who are always eager to associate with advanced devotees, whose happiness in the service of the lotus feet of Govinda is their very life, who always discharge the confidential activities of love. For such advanced devotees, who are by nature situated in bliss, The seed of love, Rati, is expanded in the heart by previous and current reformatory processes. Thus, the mixture of ecstatic ingredients becomes tasty, and being within the perception of the devotees reaches the highest platform of wonder and deep bliss. Purport. These verses are found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.1.7 to 10. 99. The exchange between Krishna and different devotees situated in different transcendental mellows is not to be experienced by non-devotees. Advanced devotees can understand and appreciate the different varieties of devotional service reciprocated with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 100. Non-devotees cannot understand the exchange of transcendental mellows between the devotees and the Lord. In all respects, this is very difficult to understand. But one who has dedicated everything to the lotus feet of Krishna can taste the transcendental mellows. Purport. This verse is also found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.5.131. 101. This brief description is an elaboration for the ultimate goal of life. Indeed, this is the fifth and ultimate goal, which is beyond the platform of liberation. It is called Krishna Prema Dhana, the treasure of love for Krishna. 102. Previously, I empowered your brother Rupa Goswami to understand these mellows. I did this while instructing him at the Dashashwamedha Ghat in Prayag. O Sanatan, you should broadcast the revealed scriptures on devotional service and excavate the lost places of pilgrimage in the district of Madhya. Establish devotional service to Lord Krishna and Radharani in Vrindavan. You should also compile Bhakti scriptures and preach the Bhakti Kal from Vrindavan. Purport. Sanatan Goswami was enjoined to broadcast the revealed scriptures on devotional service and establish the conclusions of devotional service. To establish lost places of pilgrimage like Vrindavan and Radhakal. To establish the Vrindavan method of temple worship and install deities in temples. Sri Sanatan Goswami established the Madan Mohan temple and Rupa Goswami established the Govindaji temple. And to enunciate the behavior of a Vaishnava, as Sri Sanatan Goswami did in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. In this way, Sanatan Goswami was empowered to establish the cult of Vaishnavism. As stated by Srivas Acharya in his Sant Goswami Ashtakam, Nana Shastra Vicharade Nipunau, Sadharma Samsthapakau, Lokanath Hitakarano Tribhuvanen, Manyav Sharanya Karo, Sri Radha Krishna Padara Viruddha Bhajanan Deni, Mattalikam, Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugo Sri Jiva Gopalakam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three worlds, and they're worthy of taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. This Krishna consciousness movement continues the tradition of the six Goswamis, especially Sri Sanatan Goswami and Sri Rupa Goswami. Serious students of this Krishna consciousness movement must understand their great responsibility to preach the call of Vrindavan, devotional service to the Lord all over the world. We now have a nice temple in Vrindavan, and serious students should take advantage of it. I'm very hopeful that some of our students can take up this responsibility and render the best service to humanity by educating people in Krishna consciousness. 105. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami about proper renunciation according to a proper situation, and the Lord forbade dry renunciation and speculative knowledge in all respects. Purport. This is the technique for understanding Sukha Vairagya and Yukta Vairagya. In Bhagavad Gita 6.17 it is said, Yukta Hara Viharasya, Yukta Chetasya Karmashu, Yukta Swapna Pabodhasya, Yogo Bhavati Dukhaha. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, renunciation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. To broadcast the cult of Krishna consciousness, one has to learn the possibility of renunciation in terms of country, time, and candidate. A candidate for Krishna consciousness in the Western countries should be taught about the renunciation of material existence. But one would teach candidates from a country like India in a different way. The teacher, Acharya, has to consider time, candidate, and country. He must avoid the principle of niyamagraha, that is, he should not try to perform the impossible. What is possible in one country cannot be possible in another. The Acharya's duty is to accept the essence of devotional service. There may be a little change here and there as far as Yukta Vairagya, proper renunciation, is concerned. Dry renunciation is forbidden by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we have also learned this from our spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj. The essence of devotional service is to be taken into consideration and not the outward paraphernalia. Sanatan Goswami wrote his Vaishnava Smriti, Hari Bhakti Vilas, which was specifically meant for India. In those days, India was more or less following the principles of Smartha Vidhi. Sri Sanatan Goswami had to keep pace with this, and his Hari Bhakti Vilas was compiled with this in mind. According to Smartha Brahmanas, a person not born in a Brahmana family could not be elevated to the position of Brahmana. Sanatana Goswami, however, says in the Hari Bhakti Vilas that anyone can be elevated to the position of a Brahmana by the process of initiation. Yatha Kanchana Yati, Kashram, Rasa Vidhanata, Tatha Diksha Vidhanena, Dvijatvam Chayate Nranam. As bell metal is turned to gold when mixed with mercury in an alchemical process, so one who is properly trained and initiated by a bona fide spiritual master immediately becomes a Brahman. There is a difference between the Smartha process and the Goswami process. According to the Smartha process, one cannot be accepted as a Brahmana unless he is born in a Brahmin family. According to the Goswami process, the Haribhakti Vilas and the Narada Pancharatra, anyone can be a Brahmana if he is properly initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. This is also the verdict of Sukadeva Goswami in Srimad Bhagavatam. Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasa, Avira Shubha Yavana Kashadaya, Yannecha Papa Yat Apashraya Shraya, Shubhyanti Tasmai Prabha Vishnave Namaha. Kiratas, Kunas, Andhras, Pulindas, Pulkasas, Avira, Shumbas, Yavanas, and a member of the Khasa races, and even others who are addicted to sinful acts, can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord, due to his being the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto him. A Vaishnava is immediately purified provided he follows the rules and regulations of his bona fide spiritual master. It is not necessary that the rules and regulations followed in India be exactly the same as those in Europe, America, and other Western countries. Simply imitating without effect is called niyamagraha. Not following the regulative principles but instead living extravagantly is also called niyamagraha. The word niyama means regulative principles and agraha means eagerness. The word agraha means not to accept. We should not follow regulative principles without an effect, nor should we fail to accept the regulative principles. What is required is a special technique according to the country, time, and candidate. Without the sanction of the spiritual master, we should not try to imitate. This principle is recommended here. Sukha Vairagya Jnana Simple Nishedile. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's liberal demonstration of the Bhakti cult. We should not introduce anything whimsically without the sanction of the bona fide spiritual masters. In this connection, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments on these points by quoting two verses by Sri Rupa Goswami, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.2, 55 to 56. Anashaktasya Vishayan Yadharvam Upayunchitaha Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate Prapanchakataya Buddhaya Hari Sambandhi Vastuna Mumukshuvi Parityago Vairagyam Vayu Katyate. When one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. On the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of its relationship to Krishna is not as complete in his renunciation. To preach the Bhakti Kala, one should seriously consider these verses 106, 107. One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities. One who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego. One who is equal in both happiness and distress. Who is always satisfied, forgiving, and self controlled. And who is engaged in devotional service with determination. His mind and intelligence dedicated to me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Purport. One should not be jealous of the members of other castes or nations. It is not that only Indians or Brahmanas can become Vaishnavas. Anyone can become a Vaishnava. Therefore, one should recognize that this Bhakti Kala must be spread all over the world. That is real Dveshta, Adveshta. Moreover, the word Maitra, friendly, indicates that one who is able to preach the Bhakti cult all over the world should be equally friendly to everyone. These two and the following six verses were spoken by Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 12.13 to 20. 108. He by whom no one is put into any difficulty or anxiety, who is not disturbed by anyone, who is liberated from tribulation, anger, fear, and anxiety is very dear to me. A devotee who is not dependent on others but is dependent solely on me, who is clean inwardly and outwardly, who is expert, indifferent to material things, without cares, and free from all pains, and who rejects all pious and impious activities is very dear to me. Purport. The word anapeksha means that one should not be concerned with mundane people and should not depend on them. One should solely depend on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and be freed from material desires. One should be clean within and without. To be outwardly clean, one should regularly bathe with soap and oil. And to be inwardly clean, one should always be absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. The word Sarvarambha Parityagi indicates that one should not be interested in so-called smarthamidi of pious and impious activities. 110. One who is free from all material tribulation, hatred, lamentation, and desire, who renounces both materially auspicious and materially inauspicious things, and who is devoted to me is very dear to me. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from attachment to material things, and always grave and satisfied in all circumstances, who does not care for any residence, and who is always fixed in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. Devotees who follow these imperishable religious principles of Krishna consciousness with great faith and devotion, fully accepting me as the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Are there no torn clothes lying on the common roads? Do the trees which exist for maintaining others no longer give alms in charity? Do the rivers being dried up no longer supply water to the thirsty? Are the caves of the mountains now closed? Or above all, does the unconquerable Supreme Personality of Godhead not protect the fully surrendered souls? Why then should learned people like devotees go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard-earned wealth? Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.2.5. In this verse, Sukadeva Goswami advises Maharaj Parikshit that a devotee should be independent in all circumstances. The body can be maintained with no problem if one follows the instructions given in this verse. To maintain the body may require shelter, food, water, and clothing. All these necessities can be obtained without approaching puffed up rich men. One can collect old garments that have been thrown out. One can eat fruits offered by the trees. One can drink water from the rivers. And one can live within the caves of the mountains. By nature's arrangement, shelter, clothing, and food are supplied to the devotee who is completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a devotee does not need a puffed up, materialistic person to maintain him. In other words, devotional service can be discharged in any condition. That this is the version of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.6. Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhaktir Atokshare Ahaituki Apratiyatha Yayatma Suprasidati. The occupation, the supreme occupation dharma for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted in order to completely satisfy the self. This verse explains that devotional service cannot be checked by any material condition. 115. Thereafter, Sanatana Goswami inquired from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about all the conclusive statements concerning devotional service. And the Lord very vividly explained all the confidential meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam. 116. In the revealed scriptures, Hari Vamsa, there is a description of Goloka Vrindavan, the planet where Lord Sri Krishna eternally resides. This information was given to King Indra when he surrendered to Krishna and offered prayers after Krishna had raised Govardhan Hill. Purport. In the Vedic scriptures, Harivamsa, Vishnu Purana, chapter 19, there is the following description of Goloka Vrindavan. Manushya Loka Uttravambu, Kaganam Gayata Uchate, Akashayo Pari Ravir, Dravam Swargasya Bhanuman. Swargat Udravam Brahmaloko, Brahmarshi Gana Sevita. Tatra Soma Gatis Chaiva, Jyotishmacha Mahatmana. Tasyopari Gavam Lokam, Sadhya Tvam Palayantihi. Sahai Sarva Gata Krishna, Mahakasha Gato Mahan. Upari Tatpar Tatrapi. Gativastavat Tapomai. Yam no vidmo vayam sarve prichanto api pitam aham. Gata sama tamat त्यागनम स्वर्गस सुकृतं कर्मणं ब्रह्मे तपसि युक्तनं ब्रह्मलोक परागतं गतिः गावन् तु को लोको दुरो रहोहि ततः सतलोकस त्वयि त्वया कृष्ण सिद्धिमान कृतात्मना धृतो धृतिमति वीरा नघनतु पत्रवान् गावम्. When the king of heaven, Indra, surrendered to Krishna after Krishna had raised Govardhan hill, Lord Indra stated that above the planetary systems wherein human beings reside in the sky, where birds fly, above the sky is the sun and its orbit. That is the entrance to the heavenly planets. Above the heavenly planets are other planets up to Brahmaloka, where those advanced in spiritual knowledge reside. The planets up to Brahmaloka are part of the material world, Devi Dham. Because the material world is under the control of Devi Durga, it is called Devi Dham. Above Devi Dham is a place where Lord Shiva and his wife Uma reside. Those brightened by spiritual knowledge and liberated from material contamination reside in that Shiva Loka. Beyond that planet is the spiritual world, where there are planets like Vaikuntha Lokas. Golaka Vrindavan is situated above the Vaikuntha Lokas. Golaka Vrindavan is the kingdom of Srimati Radharani and the parents of Krishna, Maharaj Nanda and Mother Yashoda. In this way, there are various planetary systems, and they are all creations of the Supreme Lord. As stated in Brahma Samhita 5.43, Golokanamni Nijathamni Tale Jatasya Devi Mahesha Harinameshu Deshu Deshu Te Te Prabhava Nichaya Vihitasyayena Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Below the planet named Goloka, Vrindavan, are the planets known as Devi Dham, Mahesh Dham, and Hari Dham. These are opulent in different ways. They are managed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, the original Lord. I offer my obeisances unto him. This Golaka Vrindavan Dham is situated above the Vaikuntha planets. The spiritual sky containing all the Vaikuntha planets is very small compared to Golaka Vrindavan Dham. The space occupied by Golaka Vrindavan Dham is called Mahaakasha, the greatest sky of all. Lord Indra said, "We asked Lord Brahma about your eternal planet, but we could not understand it. Those fruitive actors who have controlled their senses and mind with pious activities can be elevated to the heavenly planets." Pure devotees who are always engaged in Lord Narayan's service are promoted to Vaikuntha Lokas. However, my Lord Krishna, your Goloka Vrindavan Dham is very difficult to attain. Yet both you and the supreme planetary systems have descended here upon this earth. Unfortunately, I have distributed you by my misdeeds. I have disturbed you by my misdeeds, and thus, due to my foolishness, I am therefore trying to satisfy you by my prayers. Sri Nilakantha confirms the existence of Goloka Vrindavan Dham by quoting the Rig Samhita, Rig Veda 1.54.66. Tavam vastuni usmasi gaya gamadhakyai yatra gavo bhuri shringa ayasa atraha tat ugrasya Krishna paramam padam avabhati puri. We wish to go to your Radha's and Krishna's beautiful houses, about which cows with large and excellent horns are wandering. Yet distinctly shining on this earth is that supreme abode of yours. that showers joy on all. O Urugaya, Krishna, who is very much praised. 171, 118. 117 and 118. Illusory stories opposed to the conclusions of the Krishna conscious concern, the destruction of the Yadu dynasty. Krishna's disappearance. The story that Krishna and Balaram arise from a black hair and a white hair of Kshirodakshay Vishnu, and the story about the kidnapping of the queens. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to Sanatana Goswami the proper conclusions of these stories. Purport. Due to envy, many asuras describe Krishna to be like a black crow or an incarnation of a hare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami how to counteract all these asuric explanations of Krishna. The word kaka means crow and kesha means hare. The asuras describe Krishna as an incarnation of crow, an incarnation of a Shudra, a blackish tribe, and an incarnation of a hare, not knowing that the word Kesha and Ka Isha, and that Ka means Brahma and Isha means the Lord. Thus, the word Kesha indicates that Krishna is the Lord Brahma. Some of Lord Krishna's pastimes are mentioned in the Mahabharata as Mausala Lila. These include the stories of the destruction of the Yadu dynasty, Krishna's disappearance, his being pierced by a hunter's arrow, the story of Krishna's being an incarnation of a piece of hair, Kesha Avatar, as well as Mahishi Harana, the kidnapping of Krishna's queens. Actually, these are not factual but are related for the bewilderment of the asuras who want to prove that Krishna is an ordinary human being. They're false in the sense that these pastimes are not eternal, nor are they transcendental or spiritual. There are many people who are by nature averse to the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. Such people are called asuras. They have mistaken ideas about Krishna. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the asuras are given a chance to forget Krishna more and more, birth after birth. Thus, they make their appearance in a family of asuras and continue this process, being kept in the bewilderment about Krishna. Asuras in the dress of sannyasis even explain the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam in different ways according to their own imagination. Thus, they continue to remain asuras birth after birth. As far as the Kesha avatar, incarnation of a hare, is concerned, it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.7.26. The Vishnu Purana also states Ujjaharanamana Keshav Sita Krishnau Mahabala. Similarly, it is stated in the Mahabharata Adi Parva 189.31-32. Sachapi Keshav Harir Uchakrita Ekam Shuklam Aparam Cha Krishnam Tau Chapi Keshava Avashatam Yaduna Kulastriyo Rohinim Devakim Cha Tayor Eka Balabhatro Pabhava Yosau Svetas Tasya Devasya Keshaha Krishna Vidya Keshavas Sambha Bhuva Keshas Asau Varnata Krishna Uttaha. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Vishnu Purana, and the Mahabharata, there are references to Krishna and Balaram being incarnations of a black hare and a white hare, respectively. It is stated that Lord Krishna snatched two hairs, one white. Lord Vishnu snatched two hairs, one white and one black, from his head. These two heirs entered the wombs of Rohini and Devaki, members of the Yadu dynasty. Balaram was born from Rohini and Krishna was born of Devaki. Thus, Balaram appeared from the first hair and Krishna appeared from the second hair. It is also foretold that all the Asuras, who are enemies of the demigods, would be cut down by Lord Vishnu by his white and black plenary portions, and that the Supreme Personality of Godhead would appear and perform wonderful activities. In this connection, one should see the Lagu Bhagavatamrita, the chapter called Krishnamrita, verses 156 to 164. Srila Rupa Goswami has refuted this argument about the hair incarnation, and his refutation is supported by Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan's commentaries. This matter is further discussed in the Krishna Sandarbha 29 and in the commentary known as Sarva Sampadini by Srila Jiva Goswami. 119. Sanatan Goswami then humbly accepted his position as lower than a piece of straw, and symbolically holding some straw in his mouth, he fell down, clasped the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and submitted the following petition. Sanatan Goswami said, "My dear Lord, I am a very low-born person. Indeed, I am a servant of low-born people. Therefore, I am very, very downtrodden. Nonetheless, you have taught me conclusions unknown even to Lord Brahma. The conclusions that you have told me are the ocean of ambrosia of truth. My mind is unable to approach even a drop of that ocean. If you want to make a lame man like me dance, kindly bestow your transcendental blessings by placing your lotus feet on my head. Now will you please tell me, let whatever I have instructed you all be fully manifested by you. By blessing me in this way, you will give me strength to describe all this." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then placed his hand on Sanatana Goswami's head and blessed him, saying, "Let all these instructions be manifested to you." Thus, I have briefly described a discussion of the ultimate goal of life, love of Godhead. The mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cannot be described expansively. Whoever hears these instructions given to Sri Sanatana Goswami by the Lord comes very soon to realize love of God, Krishna. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita following in their footsteps. Thus, at the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, 23rd chapter describing love of Godhead. Chapter 24. The 61 explanations of the Ātmārāma verse. The following summary of this chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya. According to Sri Sanatana Goswami's request, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the well-known Srimad Bhagavatam verse beginning Ātmārāmascha Mudayo. He explained this verse in 61 different ways. He analyzed all the words and described each word with its different connotations. Adding the words cha and api, he described all the different meanings of this verse. He then concluded that different classes of transcendentalists, Jnanis, Karmis, Yogis, utilize this verse according to their own interpretation. But if they would give up this process and surrender to Krishna, as indicated by the verse itself, they would be able to comprehend the real meaning of the verse. In this regard, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu narrated a story about how the great sage Narada converted a hunter into a great Vaishnava, and how this was appreciated by Narada's friend Parvat Muni. Sanatana Goswami then offered a prayer to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. After this, the Lord gave Sanatana Goswami a synopsis of Hari Bhakti Vilas, which Sanatana Goswami later developed into the guiding principles of all Vaishnavas. Next one. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who acted as the eastern horizon, where the sun of the Ātmārāma verse rose. He manifested its rays in the form of different meanings and thus eradicated the darkness of material world. May he protect the universe. All glories to Lord Chaitanya. All glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Acharya and all glories to the devotee of Lord Chaitanya. Thereafter, Sanatana Goswami clasped the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and humbly submitted the following petition. Sanatana Goswami said, My Lord, I have heard that previously at the home of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, you explained the Ātmārāma verse in 18 different ways. Those who are self-satisfied and unattracted by external material desires are also attracted to the loving service of Sri Krishna, whose qualities are transcendental and whose activities are wonderful. Hari, the personality of Godhead, is called Krishna because he has such transcendently attractive features. Purport. This is the famous Ātmārāma verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.10. Text 6. I have heard this wonderful story and am therefore very inquisitive to hear your explanation again. If you would kindly repeat it, I would be very pleased to hear. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, I am one madman and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is another. Therefore, he took my words to be the truth. I do not recall what I spoke in that connection, but if something comes to my mind due to association with you, I shall explain it. Generally, by myself, I cannot give an explanation, but by the strength of your association, something may manifest itself. There are 11 clear words in this verse, but they are studied separately. Various meanings glitter from each word. Purport. The 11 separate words are Ātmārāma, Cha, Munaya, Nirgrantha, Api, Urukrame, Kurvanti, Ahaitukim, Bhaktim, Itham, Bhuta, Guna, Harihi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will explain the different connotations and imports of these words. The 7 different meanings of the word Atma are the absolute truth, the body, the mind, endeavor, firmness, intelligence, and nature. The following are synonyms of the word Atma: the body, mind, absolute truth, natural characteristics, firmness, intelligence, and endeavor. Purport. This is a quotation from Vishwa Prakasha Dictionary. Text 13. The word Ātmārāma refers to one who enjoys these 7 items: the absolute truth, body, mind, and so on. Later, I shall enumerate the Ātmāramas. 14. My dear Sanatan, first hear the meaning of the other words beginning with the word Muni. I shall first explain their separate meanings, then combine them. The word Muni refers to one who is thoughtful, who is grave or silent, an ascetic, who keeps great vows, one in the renounced order and a saint. These are the different meanings of the word Muni. The word Nirgrantha refers to one who is liberated from material knots of ignorance. It also refers to one who is devoid of all regulative principles enjoined in the Vedic literature. It also refers to one who does not have knowledge. Nirgrantha also refers to one who is illiterate, low-born, misbehaved, unregulated, and devoid of respect for the Vedic literature. The word also refers to one who is a capitalist and to one who has no riches. The prefix ni may be used for the sense of ascertainment, graduation, construction, or forwarding. The word grantha means riches, thesis, and composition. Purport. This is another quotation from the Vishwa Prakasha Dictionary. 19. The word Urukrama refers to one whose krama, step, is great. The word krama means throwing the foot forward, that is, stepping. 20. Krama also means power, trembling, a systematic sound, argument, and a forcible attack by stepping forward. Thus, Vamana caused the three worlds to tremble. Purport. Uru means very great, and Krama means step. When Lord Vamanadev was offered 3 steps of land, he expanded his 3 steps by covering the entire universe. In this way, the three worlds trembled, and therefore Sri Vamanadev, the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, is referred to as Guru Krama. Text 21. Even if a learned man is able to count all the minute atoms in this material world, he still cannot count the potencies of Lord Vishnu. In the form of Vamana incarnation, Lord Vishnu, without hindrance, captured all the planets, extending from the roof of the material world up to Satyaloka. Indeed, he caused every planetary system to tremble by the force of his steps. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4 to 740. In the Rigveda mantra, it is said, Om Vishnu Nu Viranakam Pravocham Yad Pravittivani Vimame Rajamsi Yo Skambhayat Uttaram Sadastham Vichakramascha Kretho Irugayam. The meaning of this verse is practically identical to the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam quoted above. 22. Through his all-pervasive features, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has expanded the entire creation. He is holding and maintaining his creation by his extraordinary potency. By his conjugal potency, he maintains the planetary system known as Goloka Vrindavan. Through his 6 opulences, he maintains many Vaikuntha planets. Purport. In his gigantic form, Lord Krishna has covered the creation. He holds all the planetary systems and maintains them by his inconceivable potencies. Similarly, he is maintaining his personal abode, Goloka Vrindavan, through his conjugal love, and he is maintaining the spiritual world containing the Vaikuntha planets by his opulences. 23. The word Urukrama indicates the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who by his external potency has perfectly created innumerable universes. These are the different meanings of the word Krama. It is used in the sense of potency, systematic arrangement, step, moving, or trembling. Purport. This is a quotation from the Vishwa Prakasha Dictionary. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is all-pervasive. Not only does he carry the 3 worlds by his inconceivable energy, but he maintains them also. He is also maintaining his spiritual planet Goloka Vrindavan by his conjugal love, and he is maintaining the Vaikuntha Lokas by his opulences. He maintains the material universe through his external energy. The material universes are perfectly situated because they are created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 25. The word Kurvanti means they do something for others. Since it is a form of verb indicating things done for others, it is common in connection. It is used in connection with devotional service, which must be executed for the satisfaction of Krishna. That is the purport of the word Kurvanti. Purport. In Sanskrit, the word guru has two forms, technically called Parasmaipada and Atmanepada. When things are done for one's personal satisfaction, the form is called Atmanepada. In that case, the word do in English is kurvanti in Sanskrit. When things are done for others, the verb form changes to kurvanti. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed Sanatana Goswami that in the Ātmārāma verse, the word kurvanti means that things should be done only for the satisfaction of Krishna. This is supposed to be, so this is supported by the grammarian Panini. The verb is formed as Atmane Pada, where work is to be done for one's own benefit. And when it is done for others, it is called Paramasmai Pada. This the verb is formed according to whether something is done for one's self-satisfaction or for another's satisfaction. 26. The terminations of the Atmanepada are employed when the fruit of the action accrues to the agent of the verbs having an indicatory or an swarita accent. This is a quotation from Panini's Sutras 1.3.72. Text 27. The word hetu, cause, means that a thing is done for some motive. There can be three motives. One may act to enjoy the results personally, to achieve some material perfection, or to attain liberation. Text 28. First, we take the word bhukti, material enjoyment, which is of unlimited variety. We may also take the word siddhi, perfection, which has 18 varieties. Similarly, the word mukti has 5 varieties. Causeless devotional services, unmotivated by sense enjoyment, perfection or liberation. When one is freed from all these contaminations, he can bring Lord Krishna, who is very funny, under control. Text 30. There are 10 meanings of the word bhakti, devotional service. One is sadhana bhakti, execution of devotional service according to regulative principles. And the other 9 are varieties of prema bhakti, ecstatic love of Godhead. Purport. There are 9 varieties of prema bhakti are rati, prema, sneha, mana, pranya, raga, anuraga, bhava, and mahabhava. Attraction, love, affection, adverse feelings, intimacy, attachment, and sub-attachment, ecstatic love, and sublime ecstatic love. For the word sadhana bhakti, there is only one meaning, the execution of devotional service according to regulative principles. Next are explained the symptoms of love of God, which can be divided into 9 varieties, beginning with attraction and extending up to the ecstatic love, and finally up to the topmost ecstatic love, Mahabhava. The attraction to Krishna of devotees on the platform of neutrality increases up to the love of God, Prema, and the attraction of devotees on the platform of servitorship increases to spontaneous attachment, Raga. 33. Devotees in Vrindavan who are friends of the Lord can increase their ecstatic love to the point of Anuraga, parental affection, lovers. Krishna's father and mother can increase their love of Godhead up to the end of Anuraga. 34. The gopis of Vrindavan who are attached to Krishna in conjugal love can increase their ecstatic love up to the point of Mahabhava, the greatest ecstatic love. These are some of the glorious meaning of the word bhakti. 35. Please hear the meaning of the word itam bhuta guna, which is found in the Ātmārāma verse. Itam bhuta has different meanings and guna has other meanings. The word itam bhuta is transcendently situated because it means full of transcendental bliss. Before this transcendental bliss, the bliss derived from merging into the existence of the absolute Brahmananda becomes like a piece of straw in comparison. 37. My dear Lord, O Master of the universe, since I have directly seen you, my transcendental bliss has taken the shape of a great ocean. Being situated in that ocean, I now realize that the so called happiness to be like the water contained in the hoof print of a car. Purport. This is a verse from Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya 14.36. Text 38. Lord Krishna is so exalted that he is more attractive than anything else and more pleasing than anything else. He is the most sublime abode of bliss. By his own strength, he causes one to forget all other ecstasies. Pure devotional service is so sublime that one can very easily forget the happiness derived from material enjoyment, material liberation, and mystic or yogic perfection. Thus, the devotee is bound by Krishna's mercy and his uncommon powers and qualities. 40. When one is attracted to Krishna on the transcendental platform, he is no longer any logical argument, the basics of revealed scripture, nor are there considerations to such conclusions. This is his transcendental quality, and that is the essence of all transcendental sweetness. Text 41. The words guna means quality, and qualities of Krishna are transcendently situated and are unlimited in quantity. All the spiritual quantities are full of transcendental bliss. Text 42. Krishna's transcendental qualities of opulence, sweetness, and mercy are perfect and full. As far as Krishna's affectionate leaning towards his devotees is concerned, he is so magnanimous that he can give himself to his devotees. 43. Krishna has unlimited qualities. The devotees are attracted by his uncommon beauty, mellows, and fragrance. They're all differently situated in different transcendental mellows. Therefore, Krishna is called all attractive. 44. The minds of the four boys, sages, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara, were attracted to the lotus feet of Krishna by the aroma of the tulsi leaf that was offered to the Lord. Whether the priest carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves and saffron from the lotus feet of the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead, entered through the nostrils into the heart of those sages, the Kumaras, they experienced a change in both body and mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. Purport. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.15.43. For an explanation, see Madhya lila 17.140. Madhya lila 17.140. Text 46. Sukadev's mind was carried away by hearing the pastimes of the Lord. 47. Sukadev Goswami addressed Parikshit Maharaj, my dear king, although I was fully situated in the transcendental position, I was nonetheless attracted to the pastimes of Lord Krishna. I studied Srimad Bhagavatam from my fathers. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.1.9. 48. I offered my respectful obeisances unto Srila Sukadev Goswami, the son of Yadava, and the destroyer of all sinful reactions. Being full in self-realization and bliss, he has no material desire. Still, he was attracted by the transcendental pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And out of compassion for the people, he described the transcendental historical literature or Bhagavatam. This is compared to the light of the absolute truth. Purport. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 12.69. 49. Lord Shri Krishna attracts the mind of all the gopis with his beautiful, transcendental bodily features. Text 50. Dear Krishna, we are simply surrendered. We have simply surrendered ourselves as your maidservants. For we have seen your beautiful face decorated with tresses of hair. Your earrings fall upon your cheeks, the nectar of your lips, and the beauty of your smile. Indeed, we have also been embraced by your arms, which give us courage, and seen your chest, which is beautiful and broad, and we have surrendered ourselves. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.29.39 was spoken by the gopis when they arrived near Krishna for the rasa dance. On a full moon night, the attracted gopis were awestruck and they began to speak about how they came to Krishna to enjoy the rasa dance. Text 51. The queens in Dwaraka, headed by Rukmini, are also attracted to Krishna simply by hearing about his transcendental beauty and qualities. Text 52. O most beautiful Krishna, I have heard about your transcendental qualities from others, and therefore all my bodily miseries are relieved. If someone sees your transcendental beauty, his eyes have attained everything profitable in life. O infallible one, I have become shameless after hearing your qualities, and I have become attracted to you. Purport. This verse 10:50-37 was written by Rukmini Devi in a letter to Krishna inviting him to kidnap her. Sukadeva Goswami describes this to Maharaj Parikshit when the king asked him how Rukmini had been kidnapped. Rukmini had heard about Krishna's qualities from different people, and after she heard about him, she decided to accept Krishna as her husband. Everything has been arranged for her marriage to Shishupala. Therefore, she wrote a letter to Krishna, which she sent through a Brahmana and kidnapped him and invited him to kidnap her. Text 53. Lord Krishna even attracts the mind of the of the goddess of fortune, simply by vibrating its transcendental field. Text 54. O Lord, we do not know how the serpent Kalia attained such an opportunity to be touched by the dust of your lotus feet. For this end, the goddesses of fortune performed austerities for centuries, giving up all other desires and taking austere vows. Indeed, we do not know how this serpent Kalia got such an opportunity. What? This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.16.36 was spoken by the wives of the Kalia serpent. Text 55. Krishna attracts not only the minds of the gopis and the goddesses of fortune, but the minds of all the young girls in three worlds as well. My dear Krishna, where is that woman within the three worlds who would not be captivated by the rhythmic rhythms of the sweet songs coming from your wonderful soul? Who would not fall down from the path of chastity in this way? Your beauty is the most sublime within the three worlds. Upon seeing your beauty, even cows, birds, animals, and trees in the forest become stunned in jubilation. Purport. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.26.40. 57. The women of Vrindavan who are on the level of superior guardians are attracted to Lord Krishna maternally. The men of Vrindavan are attracted as servants, friends, and fathers. 58. The quality of Krishna captivate and attract everything, living and non-living. Even birds, animals, and trees are attracted to Krishna's qualities. 59. Although the word Hari has many different meanings, two of them are foremost. One meaning is that the Lord takes away all inauspicious things from his devotee. The second meaning is that he attracts the mind by ecstatic love of God.
Okay. Okay.
I have 60.
టేబుల్ అవి పెట్టారు.
టేబుల్ అక్కర్లేదు, కూర్చోబెట్టి పెడితే చాలు వచ్చినప్పుడు. దాని తర్వాత 12:30కి ఇక్కడ ఇలా ట్యాప్ చేస్తే ఇది వస్తుంది ఇక్కడ. అప్పుడు దీన్ని స్టాప్ స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేసి ఎండ్ చేసాను.
12:30.
నేను ఇక్కడే ఉంటాను, కానీ నేను బై ఛాన్స్ అక్కడ లేకపోతే కనుక మీరు చూసుకుంటాను. సో ఇప్పుడు చాప్టర్ 24 టెక్స్ట్ 60 నుంచి ఒకటే ఉంది కదా. ఎలా చూడాలంటే ఇక్కడ డిఫాల్ట్ వ్యూ ఉంటుంది కదా, అడ్వాన్స్ వ్యూలో కింద ఇంకా చాలా ట్రాన్స్లేషన్ అవుతుంది.
Text 60. Translation. When the devotee somehow or otherwise remembers this personality of Godhead anywhere and everywhere, Lord Hari takes away life's four miserable conditions. Purport. The four miserable conditions are due to four kinds of sinful activities known as Pataka, Urupataka, Mahapataka, and Adipataka. Preliminary sin, very great sin, greater sin, and topmost sin. However, Krishna assures the devotees, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Sayimi Masaj. I will protect you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. The word Sarva Papebhya indicates four kinds of sinful activities. As soon as devotee surrenders unto Krishna lotus feet, he is certainly relieved from all sinful activities and their results. The four basic sinful activities are summarized as illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meditating. Text 61 translation. As all fuel is burned to ashes by a full-fledged fire, all sinful activities are totally erased when one engages in devotional service to me. Oh God. This was from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.14.19 was spoken by Lord Krishna. Text 62 translation. In this way, when all sinful activities are vanquished by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one gradually vanquishes all kinds of impediments on the path of devotional service, as well as the ignorance resulting from these impediments. After this, one totally manifests his original love of Godhead through devotional service in 9 different ways: hearing, shining, and so forth. Text 63 translation. When the devotee is free from all sinful material activities, Krishna attracts his body, mind, and senses to his services. Thus, Krishna is very merciful and his transcendental qualities are very attractive. Text 64 translation. When one's mind, senses, and body are attracted to the transcendental qualities of Hari, one gives up the four principles of material success. Thus, I have explained the chief meaning of the word Hari. Purport. The four principles of material success are religious performance, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation or merging into imperfectional effluence of Brahman. These things do not interact with the devotee. Text 61 translation. When the conjunctions ka and api also are added to these words, the words can assume whatever meaning one wants to give it. Translation. The word ka can be explained in 7 ways. Text 67 translation. The word ka and is used to connect a word or sentence with a previous word or sentence to give the sense of aggregation, to assess the meaning, to give a collective understanding, to suggest another word or exertion, or to fulfill the meter of a verse. It is also used in the sense of certainty or word. This is a quotation from Vishwa Prakasha Dictionary. Text 68 translation. There are 7 chief meanings of the word api. They are as follows. 69 translation. The word api is used in the sense of possibility, question, doubt, censure, aggregation, appropriate, application of things, and extravagance. Purport. This is another quotation from Vishwapraksha, text 17 translation. I have now described the different meanings of 11 separate words. Now let me give you the complete meaning of sloka as it applied in different places. Text 71 translation. The word Brahma indicates Samam Gurnam, the absolute truth, which is greater than all other truths. It is the original identity, and there can be nothing equal to the absolute truth. Text 72 translation. I offer my respectful obeisance to the absolute truth, the Samam Bhunam. He is all pervasive, all increasing subject matter for the greater yogis. He is changeless and is soul of all. Purport. This is a quotation from the Vishnu Purana 1.12.57. Text 73 translation. The proper meaning of the word Brahma is the Supreme Personality of God, who is one without a second and without whom nothing else exists. Text 74 translation. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth say that it is non-dual knowledge and it is called impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead. Oh, this is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.11. For an explanation, see Adi Lila 2.11. Text 75 translation. The absolute truth without a second is Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of God. He is the Supreme Truth in the past, present, and future. This is the evidence of all religious scriptures. Text 76 translation. Prior to the cosmic creation, only I exist, and no phenomena exist, either gross, subtle, or primordial. After creation, only I exist in everything, and after annihilation, only I remain eternally. Purport. This was from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.33, was spoken by Lord Krishna. For an explanation, see Adi Lila 1.53. Translation. The word Atma, self, indicates the highest truth, Krishna. He is all pervasive witness of all, and he is the supreme form. Text 78 translation. Hari, the personality of God, is the all pervasive original source of everything. He is therefore the super soul of everything. Oh, this is a quotation from Bhavarta Deepika, Sridhara Swami commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 79 translation. There are three ways to attain lotus feet of the absolute truth, Krishna. There is a success of philosophical speculation, the practice of mystic yoga, and the execution of devotional service. Each of these has its different characteristics. Text 18 translation. The absolute truth is the same, but according to the process by which one understands him, he appears in three forms as Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 81 translation. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth says that it is non-knowledge, non-dual knowledge, and it is impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and the self-personality of Godhead. Text 82 translation. Although the words Brahman and Atma indicates Krishna, their direct meaning refers to impersonal Brahman and the super soul respectively. If one follows the path philosophical speculation, the absolute truth manifests himself as impersonal Brahman, and if one follows the path of mystic yoga, he manifests himself as a super soul. Text 84 translation. There are two kinds of devotional activities, spontaneous and regulated. By spontaneous devotional service, one attains the original personality of Godhead Krishna, and by regulative process, one attains the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 85 translation. By executing spontaneous devotional service in Vrindavana, one attains the original Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, the son of Mother Yashoda, is accessible to those devotees engaged in spontaneous living service, but he is not easily accessible to mental speculators. To those starving for self-realization by severe austerities and penances, or to those who consider the body the same as the self, or both. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.21 was spoken by Sri Sukadeva Goswami. For an explanation, see Madhya lila 8.227. Text 87 translation. By executing regulated devotional service, one becomes an associate of Narayana and attains the Vaikuntha Lokas, the spiritual planets in the spiritual sky. Text 88 translation. Those who discuss the activities of Lord Krishna are on the highest platform of devotional life and they evince the symptoms of tears in the eyes and bodily jubilation. Such persons discharge devotional service to Krishna without practicing the rules and regulations of a mystic yogic system. They possess all spiritual qualities and they are elevated to the Vaikuntha's planet, which exists above us forward. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.15.25. In this verse, Lord Brahma is begging all the demigods who feared the two asuras in Diti's home. Lord Brahma described the Kumara's visit to Vaikuntha, and this was again explained by Maitreya, the friend of Vyasadeva, when he gave instructions to Vidya. Text 89 translation. The devotees are divided into three categories: Akama, desireless; Moksha Kama, desiring liberation; and Sarvakama, desiring material perfection. Text 90 translation. One who is actually intelligent, although he may be devotee free from material desires, a karmi desiring all kinds of material facilities, or a gnani desiring liberation, should seriously engage in bhakti yoga for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of God. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.10. Text 91 translation. The meaning of the word dharati is buddhiman, intelligent or considerate. Because of this, even for one's own sense gratification, one engages in the devotional service of Lord Krishna. The other processes cannot yield results unless they are associated with devotional services. Devotional service, however, is so strong and independent that it can give one all the desired results. Text 93 translation. With the exception of devotional service, all the methods of self-realization are like the nipples of neck of a goat. Therefore, an intelligent person adopts only devotional service, giving up all the other processes of self-realization forward. Without devotional service, other methods of self-realization and spiritual life are useless. Other methods cannot produce good results at any time, and therefore they are compared to the nipples on the neck of goat. These nipples cannot produce milk, although it may appear that they can. An unintelligent person cannot understand that only devotional service can elevate one to the transcendental position. Text 94 translation. O best among Bharatas, Arjuna, four kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who searching for knowledge of the absolute. Purport. This is a quotation from Bhagavad Gita 7.16. The word Sukritanaha is very important in this verse. Su means auspicious and Kriti means meritorious or regulated. Unless one follows the regulative principles of religious life, human life is no different from animals' life. Religious life means following the principles of Varna and Shrama. In Vishnu Purana, it is said, Varnashramakravata Purusena Paraha Mana Visnur Aradhata Pantha Nanyata Tattosa Karana. According to religious life, society is divided into four social divisions: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, and four spiritual divisions: Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. One needs to train to become a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, just as one is trying to become an engineer, doctor. Those who are properly trained can be considered human beings. If one is not trained socially and spiritually, that is, if one is uneducated or unregulated, his life is on the animal platform. Among animals, there is no question of spiritual advancement. Spiritual life can be attained by proper training, either by following the principles of karma and shrama, or by being directly trained in the bhakti school by the methods of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishwanaha, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Akshamatmam, Nivedanam. Without being trained, one cannot be kriti auspicious in this verse. Krishna says that people approached him when in distress, in need of money, or when actually inquisitive to understand the Supreme Being or the original source of everything. Some people approach him in the pursuit of knowledge of the absolute truth. Others approach him when they are distressed, like the devotee Caitanya. Others are inquisitive, like the great sages headed by Sonaka, and others need money, like Dhruva Maharaja. Sukadeva Goswami approached the Lord when he pursued knowledge. All these great personalities is to be devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Text 95 translation. Materialistic devotees take a devotional service and worship Krishna when they are distressed or in need of money. Those who are actually inquisitive to understand the supreme source of everything and those who are in search of knowledge are called transcendentalists for the desired liberation from all material contaminations. Text 96 translation. Because they have pious background, all four types of people are to be considered grateful fortunate. Such people gradually give up material desires and become pure devotees. Text 97 translation. One is elevated to the platform of devotional life by the merciful of Vaishnava, the bona fide spiritual master, and by the special mercy of Krishna. On the platform, one gives up all material desires and the associations of unwanted people. Thus, one is elevated to the platform of pure devotional service. Text 98 translation. The intelligent who has understood the Supreme Lord in the association of pure devotees and have become free from bad materialistic association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard them only once. Forward. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavad Gita 1.10.11. All the members of Kuru dynasty offered a speech when Krishna was leaving Hastinapura. After the battle of Kurukshetra, Krishna was going to his own kingdom, and all the members of Kuru dynasty were overwhelmed by his departure. This verse was spoken in connection by Sutta Goswami. A pure devotee becomes attached to Krishna by hearing the Lord's glories. The Lord's glories and the Lord Himself are identical. One has to be qualified to understand His absolute truth. Therefore, one should be given a chance to associate with a pure devotee. Our Krishna's consciousness movement is meant for this purpose. We want to create pure devotees so that other people will benefit by their association. In this way, the number of pure devotees increases. Personal preacher cannot create pure devotees. There are many professional preachers, Srimad Bhagavatam, who read this work to earn their livelihood. However, they cannot convert materialistic people to devotional service. Only a pure devotee can convert others to pure devotional service. It is therefore important for all the preachers in our Krishna's consciousness movement to first become pure devotees and follow the regulative principles, refraining from illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. They should regularly chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra on their beads, follow the devotional process, rise early in the morning, attend Mangalarati, and recite Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita regularly. In this way, one can become purified and free from all materialistic contaminations. Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam Tat Nirmalam Rishikesha Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktir Uchyate. Bhakti or devotional service is engaging all one's senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of God, the Masters of all senses. When the spirit soul renders service onto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is free from all designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. Nartha Pancha. To make a show of devotional service will not help one. One must be pure devotee, follow the devotional process. Then one can convert others to devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu practiced devotional service and preached Apni Akari Achari Bhakti Karina Prakara. If one preacher behaves properly in devotional service, he will be able to convert others. Otherwise, his preaching will have no effect. Text 9 translation. Text 99 translation. Chanting oneself and cheating oneself and cheating others is called Caitanya. Associating with those who cheat in this way is called Dusanga, bad association. Those who desire things other than Krishna's service is also called Dusanga, bad association. Text 100 translation. The great scripture Srimad Bhagavatam, compiled by Mahamana Vyasadeva from 4 original verses, describes the most elevated and kind-hearted devotees and completely rejects the cheating ways of materially motivating relationship. It propounds the highest principle of eternal religion, which can actually mitigate the threefold miseries of living being and award the highest benediction of full prosperity and knowledge. Those willing to hear the message of the scriptures in a submissive attitude of service can once capture the Supreme Lord in their hearts. Therefore, there is no need any scriptures other than Srimad Bhagavatam. Purport. This quotation is from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.2. For explanation, Sri Adi Lila 1.19. Text 101 translation. The prefix pra in the word prajuta specifically refers to those desiring liberations or oneness with the Supreme. Such a desire should be understood to the foremost cheating propensity. The great commentator Sridhara Swami has explained this verse in that way. Text 102 translation. When merciful Lord Krishna understands that foolish devotee desires material prosperity, he gratefully gives him shelter of his lotus feet. In this way, the Lord covers the devotee's undesirable ambition. Text 103 translation. Whenever Krishna is requested to fulfill one's desire, he undoubtedly does so, but he does not award anything which, after being enjoyed, will cause one to petition him again and again to fulfill further desires. When one has further other desires but engages in the Lord's service, Krishna forcibly gives one shelter at his lotus feet when one will forget all other desires. Oh, this is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 5.19.27, translation 104. Association with the devotee, the mercy of Krishna, and the nature of devotional service help one to give up all undesirable association and gradually attain elevation to the platform flower of Godhead. Oh, this verse refers to the association of pure devotee, the mercy of Krishna, and the rendering of devotional service. All this helps one give up the association of non-devotees and material opulence awarded by eternal energy. Maya. A pure devotee is never attracted by material opulence, for he understands that wasting time to acquire material opulence is a misuse of human life. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Shrama eva hi kevalam. In the eyes of devotee, politicians, social workers, philosophers, humanitarians are simply wasting their time, for the human society is not freed from the cycle of birth and death by the activity and progress. These so-called philanthropists, politicians, and philosophers have no knowledge because they do not know that there is a life after death. Understanding that there is a life after death is the beginning of spiritual knowledge. A person can understand himself what is simply by understanding the first lessons of Bhagavad Gita 2.13. Dehinosmin yathe dehi komeram yuvanam jana tata dehantera pratir dhiras tatra namukiti. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Not knowing the real science of life, a foolish person engages in the temporary activities of this life and of, thus becomes further entangled in the circle of birth and death. He always desires material opulence, which can be attained by karma, jnana, and yoga. But when one is actually elevated to the devotional platform, he gives up all his desires. This is called abhyasta sunya. Then one becomes pure devotee. Hare Krishna.
Text 105. In this way, I shall progressively explain all the words in the Ātmārāma's verse. It should be understood that all these words are meant to enable one to taste the transcendental qualities of Krishna. Text 106. I have given all these explanations just to give some indication of the verse's meaning. Now let me explain the real meaning of the verse. Text 107. There are two kinds of worshippers on the path of philosophical speculation. One is called Brahma Upsakas, a worshipper of the impersonal Brahman, and the other is called Moksha Kanshi, one who desires liberation. Text 108. There are three types of people who worship the impersonal Brahmans. The first is the beginner, the second is one whose thoughts are absorbed in Brahman, and the third is one who's actually emerged in the impersonal Brahman. Text 109. One cannot attain liberation simply through philosophical speculation devoid of devotional service. However, if one renders devotional service, he is automatically on the Brahman platform. Text 110. Characteristically, one in devotional service is attracted away from the personal Brahman platform. He is offered a transcendental body to engage in Lord Krishna's service. Text 111. When one gets a devotee's spiritual body, he can remember the transcendental qualities of Krishna. Simply by being attracted to Krishna's transcendental qualities, one becomes a pure devotee engaged in his service. Purport. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given me the following summary of verses 107 through 111. Transcendentalists on the path of philosophical speculation can be divided into two categories: pure worshippers of impersonal Brahman and those who wish to merge into existence of impersonal Brahman. When one is fully absorbed in the thought that one is not different from the Supreme Absolute Truth, one is said to be a worshipper of the impersonal Brahman. The impersonal worshippers of Brahman can again be divided into three categories. One, sadhakas. 1. Those who are nearing perfect execution of the process of Brahman realization. 2. Those who are fully absorbed in meditation of Brahman. And 3. Those who are on the Brahma Buddha platform and have no relationship with material existence, even though the worshipper of a personal Brahman can be highly advanced. He cannot attain liberation without discharging devotional service. Anyone who has realized himself as a spirit soul can engage in devotional service. This is the verdict of the Bhagavad Gita 18.54. Brahmabhuta prasantama na shotsati na kanashati samad sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labdhati param. One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires of anything else, desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. To attain the platform of pure devotional service, one has to become spiritually pure and attain the Brahma Buddha platform, which is beyond material anxiety and material discrimination. When one approaches pure devotional service after realizing Brahman, one becomes attached by pure devotional service. At such a time, by rendering devotional service, one gets a spiritual body with purified senses. Sarvopajne vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam krikshena krikshasha sevanam bhaktir uchyate. When one senses are pure, one can render loving devotional service to Krishna. A pure devotee can only remember Krishna's transcendental qualities. Remembering them, he fully engages in the loving service of the Lord. Text 112. Even a liberated soul merged in the impersonal Brahman effulgence is attracted to the pastimes of Krishna. He thus installs a deity and renders the Lord service. Purport. Highly elevated Mayavadi sannyasis sometimes worship the Radha Krishna deity and discuss the pastimes of the Lord. But their purpose is not elevation to Goloka Vrindavana. They want to merge onto the Lord's effulgence. This statement is quoted from Shankaracharya's commentary on the Upanishad known as Nrsimha Tapani. Text 117. Although Shukadeva Goswami and the four Kumaras were always absorbed in the thought of impersonal Brahman and were thus Brahmavadis, they were nonetheless attracted by transcendental pastimes and qualities of Krishna. Therefore, they later became devotees of Krishna. Text 114. The minds of the four Kumaras were attracted by the aroma of the flowers offered to Krishna's lotus feet. Being thus attracted by the transcendental qualities of Krishna, they engage in pure devotional service. Text 115. When the breeze carrying the aroma of tulasi leaves and saffron from the lotus feet of the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead enter through the nostrils into the hearts of those sages, the Kumaras, they experience a change in body and mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. Purport. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.15.43, text 116. By the mercy of Srila Vyasadeva, Shukadeva Goswami was attracted by the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Being thus attracted by Krishna's transcendental qualities, he also became a devotee and engaged in his service. Text 117. Being very much attracted by the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, the mind of Srila Shukadeva Goswami was agitated by Krishna consciousness. He therefore began to study Srimad Bhagavatam by the grace of his father. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.11, text 118. From their very birth, the 9 great mystic yogis, yogendras, were impersonal philosophers of the absolute truth, but because they heard about Lord Krishna's qualities from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the great sage Narada, they also became Krishna's devotees. Text 119. In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a full description of the devotional service of the 9 yogendras who rendered devotional service because they were attracted by the Lord's transcendental qualities. Text 120. The 9 Yogendras entered the Lord Brahma's association and heard from him the real meaning of the topmost Vedic literatures, the Upanishads. Although the Yogendras were already conversant in Vedic literature, Vedic knowledge, they became very jubilant in Krishna consciousness just by listening to Brahma. Thus, they wanted to enter Dvaraka, the abode of Lord Krishna. In this way, they finally achieved the place known as Ranga Kshetra. Purport. This is a quotation from Maha Upanishad, text 121. Those who wish to merge into personal Brahman are also divided into 3 categories: those desiring to be liberated, those already liberated, and those who have realized Brahman. Text 122. There are many people within this material world who desire liberation, and for this purpose they render devotional service to Lord Krishna. Text 123. Those who want to be relieved from the material clutches give up the worship of various demigods who have fearful bodily features. Such peaceful devotees who are not envious of the demigods worship the different forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.26. Those who actually want the highest perfection worship Lord Vishnu in his different incarnations. Those who are attracted to the materialistic way of life and who are always agitated and full of anxiety worship demigods who appear fierce. Demigods like goddess Kali and Kala, Bhairava, Rudra. The devotees of Krishna, however, do not envy the demigods of their worshippers or their worshippers, but peacefully render devotional service to the incarnations of Narayana instead. Text 124. If those who are attached to the demigod worship personally associate with the devotees, their dormant devotional service and appreciation of the Lord's qualities gradually awaken. In this way, they also engage in Krishna's devotional service and give up the desire for liberation and desire to merge into existence of impersonal Brahman. Purport. The four Kumaras, Sana, Shukadeva Goswami, and the 9 Yogendras we absorbed in Brahman realization, and how they became devotees is described herein. There are 3 kinds of impersonalists: the Mumukshu, those desiring liberation; the Jivan Muktas, those liberated in this life; and the Prapta Svarupas, those merged in Brahman realization. All 3 types of jnanis are called moksha kankshiks, those desiring liberation. By associating with devotees, such people give up their mumukshu principle and render devotional service. The real cause of this change is in the associating of devotees. The Krishna consciousness movement is meant to attract all types of men, even those who desire things other than the Lord's devotional service. Through the association of devotees, they gradually begin to render devotional service. Text 125. O great learned devotee, although there are many faults in this material world, there is one good opportunity: the association with devotees. Such association brings about great happiness. Due to this good quality, our strong desire to achieve liberation by merging into Brahman effulgence has become weakened. Purport. This is a quotation from Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya, text 126. By associating with great Saint Narada, Shaunaka and other great sages gave up the desire of liberation and engaged in Krishna devotional service. Text 127. Simply by meeting Krishna or receiving Krishna's special favor, one can give up the desire for liberation. Being attracted by the transcendental qualities of Krishna, one can engage in his service. Text 128. In this Bharakadhama, I am being attracted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is personified spiritual bliss. Simply by seeing him, I am feeling great happiness. Oh, I have wasted so much time trying to become self-realized through impersonal cultivation. This is a cause for lamentation. Purport. This verse is found in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 3.1.4. 10.34. Text 129. There are many people who are liberated even in this lifetime. Some are liberated by discharging devotional service, and others are liberated through the philosophical speculative process. Text 130. Those who are liberated by devotional service become more and more attracted by the transcendental qualities of Krishna. Thus they engage in his service. Those who are liberated by the speculative process eventually fall down again due to offensive activity. Text 131. A lotus-eyed one, those who think they are liberated in this life, but are without devotional service to you, are of impure intelligence. Although they accept severe austerities and penances and rise to the spiritual position, to impersonal Brahman realization, they fall down again because they neglect to worship your lotus feet. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2.32, text 132. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. Then he never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally indisposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains the pure devotional service unto me. Purport. This is a quotation from the Bhagavad Gita 18.54, text 133. Although I was worshipped by those on the path to monism and initiated into self-realization through the yoga system, I have nonetheless been forcibly turned into maid servant by some cunning boy who is always joking with the gopis. Purport. This is a verse written by Bilvamangala Thakura. Text 134. One who has attained his constitutional position by the strength of devotional service attains a transcendental body even in this lifetime. Being attracted by Lord Krishna's transcendental qualities, he fully engages in service at his lotus feet. Text 135. The living entities and other potencies merge into Mahavishnu as the Lord lies down and binds up, destroys the cosmic manifestation. The liberation means being situated in one's eternal original form after giving up the changeable gross and subtle bodies. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.10.6, text 136. By opposing Krishna consciousness, one becomes conditioned and fearful due to the influence of Maya. By executing devotional service faithfully, one is liberated from Maya. Text 137, translation. When the living entity is attracted by material energy, which is separate from Maya, he is overpowered by fear. Because he is separated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the material energy, his conception of life is reversed. In other words, instead of being the eternal servant of Krishna, he becomes Krishna's competitor. This is called viprayaya smrti. To nullify this mistake, one who is actually learned and advanced worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his spiritual master, worshipful deity, and source of life. Thus, he thus worships the Lord by the process of unalloyed devotional service. Purport. This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.37, text 188. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Purport. This is a quotation from Bhagavad Gita 7.14, text 139. One does not attain liberation without rendering devotional service. Liberation is attained only by devotional service. Text 140. My dear Lord, devotional service unto you is the only auspicious path. If one gives it up simply for speculative knowledge or the understanding of these living things, that these living things are spirit souls and the material world is false, he undergoes a great deal of trouble. He only gains troublesome and inauspicious activities. His actions are like beating a husk that is already devoid of rice. His labor becomes fruitless. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.4. Text 141. O lotus-eyed one, those who think they are liberated in this life but are without devotional service to you are of impure intelligence. Although they accept severe austerities and penances and rise to the spiritual position, to impersonal Brahman realization, they fall down again because they neglect to worship your lotus feet. Purport. This is verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2.32, text 142. Translation. If one simply maintains an official position in the four varnas and ashramas, but does not worship the Supreme Lord Vishnu, he falls down from his puffed up position into hellish condition. Purport. This is also a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.3, text 143. When one is actually liberated by executing devotional service, he always engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Text 144. Even a liberated soul immersed in the impersonal Brahman effulgence is attracted to the pastimes of Krishna. He thus installs a deity and renders this Lord service. Purport. This is a quotation from Shankaracharya's commentary on the Nrsimha Tapani Upanishad. Text 145. These 6 kinds of Ātmārāmas engage in the loving service of Krishna. The varieties of service are indicated by adding cha, and they also bear meaning of api. Indeed, purport. There are 6 kinds of Ātmārāmas: the neophyte student, sadhaka, one who is absorbed in Brahman realization; Brahmamaya, one who has already attained Brahman position; Prapta Brahmalaya, who is one who desires to be liberated; Mumukshu, and one who is liberated even in this life; Jivan Mukta, and one who is self-realized; Prapta Svarupa. Text 146. The 6 kinds of Ātmārāmas render devotional service to Krishna without ulterior motives. The words Munaya and Santha indicate those who are very much attached to meditating upon Krishna. Text 147. The word Nirgrantha means without ignorance and devoid of rules and regulations, whichever meaning it may be applied. Text 148. Use of the word cha in different places produces different meanings. Over and above them, there is another meaning that is very important. Text 149. Although the words Ātmārāmas cha would be repeated 6 times, simply by adding a word cha, 5 Ātmārāmas are deleted. Text 150. Therefore, there is no need to repeat the word Ātmārāma. One is sufficient, and that one word indicates 6 persons. Text 151. Of words having the same form in case termination, the last one is the only one retained. For example, the word Rama is used to stand for Ramascha, etc. Purport. This is a quotation from Panini Sutras 1.2.64. Text 152. Translation. By the aggressive use of the word sa, it is indicated that all the Ātmārāmas and saints serve and worship Krishna. Text 153. Api added to the word Nigranta ta is used for exposition. Thus I have tried to clarify 7 meanings of the Ātmārāma verse. Text 154. The yogi who worships Super Soul within himself is also called Ātmārāma. There are 2 types of Ātmārāma yogis. Text 155. The 2 types of Ātmārāma yogis are called Sagarbha and Nigarbha. Each of these is divided into 3, therefore there are 6 types of worshippers of the Super Soul. Purport. The word Sagarbha yogi refers to a yogi who worships the Super Soul in the Vishnu form. The Nigarbha yogi worships Super Soul without form. The Sagarbha yogi and Nigarbha yogis are further categorized. 1 Sagarbha Yoga Rukshu, 2 Nigarbha Yoga Rukshu, 3 Sagarbha Yoga Ruta, 4 Nigarbha Yoga Ruta, 5 Sagarbha Prapta Siddhi, and 6 Nigarha Prapta Siddhi. Text 156. Some yogis think of the Lord within their hearts and as measuring about 6 inches. The Lord has 4 hands in which he holds a conch of love, the Lord is Lord. Those who worship this form of Vishnu within the heart are called Sagarbha yogis. Purport. This is verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 157. When one is in ecstatic love with Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's heart is melted by Bhakti Yoga and one feels transcendental bliss. Their bodily symptoms manifest, and due to eagerness, there are tears in the eyes. Thus, one is subjected to spiritual bliss. When the heart is overly affected, the meditative mind, like a fishing hook, is gradually separated from the object of meditation. Purport. This is also quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.28.34, text 158. By these 3 divisions of advancement in yoga, Yoga Rukshu, Yoga Rudna, and Prapta Siddhi, there are 3 kinds of mystic yogis. There are 6 kinds of mystic yogis. Text 159. For those saintly persons who wish to rise to the platform of yogic perfection, the means consist of practicing the yoga system by strictly following its regulative principles and practicing the yoga postures and breathing exercises. And for those who are already elevated in this platform, this means consist of maintaining mental equilibrium, shama, by rejecting all material activity and practicing meditation to keep the mind on the Supreme Lord. Purport. Text 159 and 160 are from Bhagavad Gita 6.3-4, text 160. When a person is no longer interested in acting for sense gratification, and when he renounces all material desires, he is said to be situated in perfect yoga, Yoga Ruda, text 161. When a purified yogi associates with devotees, he engages in Lord Krishna's devotional service, being attracted by the Lord's transcendental qualities, text 162. The meanings of the word sa and the p can be applied here. The meanings of the word muni and nigrantha are the same as before. Text 166. The word haituki is always applicable to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Urukrama, in the Urukrama. In this way, I have described 13 complete meanings of the Ātmārāma verse. Purport. The 13 meanings of the Ātmārāma verse mentioned here are based on the following meanings. For the word Ātmārāma 1, sadhaka, the neophyte performer. The Brahmamaya, one who absorbs in the thought of impersonal Brahman. 3 Prapta Brahmalaya, one who has actually attained Brahman perfection. 4 Mumukshu, one who desires liberation. 5 Jivan Mukta, one who is liberated in this life. 6 Praptam Swarupa, one who has attained his original constitutional position. 7 Nigrantha Muni, a complete liberation, celebrated saint. 8 Sagarbha Yoga Rukshu is yogi meditating upon the four-handed Vishnu form and desiring yogic perfection. The Nigarbha Yoga Rukshu, one who is trying to for perfection in impersonal meditation. And 10 Sagarbha Yoga Ruda.
My car properly parked. Will car okay.
One who has been elevated to the platform of yogic perfection by meditating on the Vishnu form. 11. The Garbha Yoga Rudha, an impersonal yoga on the platform of perfection. 12. Sagarbha Prapta Siddhi, one who has attained the perfectional stage by meditating on the Vishnu form. 13. The Garbha Prapta Siddhi, one who has attained perfection by practicing impersonal meditation. Text 164. These 13 types of yogis and munis are called Shanta Bhaktas, for they render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the neutral stage. Text 165. The word Atma means the mind. In this case, the word Ātmārāma means a person who is satisfied by mental speculation. When such a person associates with pure devotee, he takes a devotional service at the lotus feet of Krishna. Text 166. Those who follow the path of great saintly mystic yogis take to the yogic gymnastic process and begin worshipping from the abdomen, where it is said that Brahman is located. Such people are called Caritamrta, which means that they are situated in the gross bodily conception. They are also followers of Rishi known as Aruna. Following his path, they observe the activities of the arteries. Thus, they gradually rise to the heart, where subtle Brahman, Paramatma, is situated. They then worship him. O unlimited Ananta, better than these persons are the mystic yogis who worship you from the top of their heads. Beginning with the abdomen and proceeding through the heart, they reach the top of the head and pass through the Brahma-ranthra, the hole at the top of the head skull. As these yogis attain a personal perfect platform and do not enter the cycle of birth and death again. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.87.18, text 167. Being attracted by transcendental qualities of Krishna, such yogis become great saints. At that time, and not being hampered by the yoga process, they engage in an alloyed devotional service. Text 168. Atma means endeavor. Being attracted by Krishna's transcendental qualities, some saints make a great endeavor to come to the point of rendering service to him. Text 169. The transcendental position cannot be attained by wandering up and down from Brahmaloka and Satyaloka to Patalaloka. If one is actually intelligent and learned, he should endeavor for the real transcendental position. By the force of time, one attains the whatever material happiness is available within the 14 worlds, just as one attains this rest in due course of time. But since spiritual consciousness is not attained in this way, one should try for it. Purport. This verse was spoken by Narada Muni in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.18. Narada Muni was speaking to Vyasadeva, who was morose even after he had compiled all the Vedic literatures. In this connection, Narada Muni advised Srila Vyasadeva to try to attain devotional service and nothing else. Text 170. Those who are eager to awaken their spiritual consciousness and who thus have unflinching, undeviated, intelligence certainly attain the desired goal of life very soon. Purport. This is a quotation from Narada Purana. Naradya Purana, text 171. The word sa may be used in the place of api, which gives emphasis to something. Thus it means that without sincere endeavor in devotional service, one cannot attain love of God. Text 172. Devotional perfection is very difficult to attain for the two reasons. First, unless one is attached to Krishna, he cannot attain devotional perfection, even he rendered devotional service for a long time. Second, Krishna does not easily deliver the perfection in devotional service. Purport. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.18, Muktim dadati karhitsit. Srila Sukadeva Shukadeva Goswami told Maharaja Parikshit that Krishna readily grants liberation but does not very readily grant perfection in devotional service. This means that Krishna wants to see that the devotee is actually sincere and serious, and that he does not have ulterior motives. If this is the case, devotional service can very easily be successful. Otherwise, it is very difficult to obtain from Supreme Personality of Godhead. This verse appears in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.35, text 173. Those who are constantly devoted to serving me in love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Purport. This is a quotation from Bhagavad Gita. For an explanation, see Adi Lila 11.1.49. Text 174. Another meaning of Atma is Driti or endurance. A person who endeavors with endurance is Ātmārāma. With endurance, such a person engages in devotional service. Text 175. The word Muni also means bird and bumblebee. The word the Granta refers to foolish people. By the mercy of Krishna, such creatures conflict as sadhu and thus engage in devotional service. Text 175. My dear mother, in this forest, all the birds rising on the beautiful branches of the trees are closing their eyes and not being attracted by any other sound, are simply listening to the vibration of Krishna's flute. Such birds must be on the same level as great saints. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.21.14. This statement was made by the gopis who were lamenting in separation from Krishna and studying how the inhabitants of Vrindavan were enjoying life like saintly persons. Text 177. O good fortune personified, the original personality of Godhead. All these bees are chanting about your transcendental name, fame, which will purify the entire universe. Indeed, they are following in your path in the forest and are worshipping you. Actually, they are all saintly persons. But now they have taken the form of bees. Although you are playing like a human being, they could not forget that you are their worshipable deity. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.15.6. Krishna and Balarama, we are just on the verge of boyhood and we are entering the forest of Vrindavana. When Krishna began to offer prayers to please Balarama. Text 178. All the cranes and swans in the water are being hence enchanted by the melodious song of Krishna's flute. They have approached and are worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead with their full attention. Alas, they are closing their eyes and are becoming completely silent. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.35.11. In this day, Krishna went to the forest of Vrindavana, and at that time, the gopis, being morose during the separation from him, were lamenting in this way. Text 179. Kiratas, Gunas, and Adharas, Pulindas, Pukashas, Abhiras, Shumbhas, Yavanas, and members of the Kasha races, and even others who are addicted to sinful acts, can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord. Due to his being the supreme power, I beg to offer many respectful messages unto him. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.18. This verse was spoken by Shukadeva Goswami when Parikshit Maharaja asked him for a description of the creation. While offering obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shukadeva Goswami described the unlimited potencies of Lord Vishnu, who can purify the low-born creatures mentioned herein. Text 180. The word dirty is also used when one is fully perfect in knowledge. When due to having obtained the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has no material miseries. He attains Mahapurna, the highest level of perfection. Text 181. Dirty is the fullness felt due to the absence of misery and the attainment of knowledge of a supreme and pure love for him. The lamentation on that occurs from not obtaining a goal or from losing something already attained does not affect this completeness. Purport. This verse is found in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.4.144, text 182. A devotee of Krishna is never in miserable condition, nor does he have any desire other than to serve Krishna. He is experienced and advanced. He feels the transcendental bliss of love for Krishna and always engages in his service and in full perfection. Text 183. My devotees, having fulfilled their desires by serving me, do not accept the four kinds of salvation that are easily earned by such service. Why then should they accept any pleasures that are lost in the course of time? Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.67, text 184. In this material world, all living entities are disturbed due to their flickering position. A devotee, however, is fixed in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, the master of all the senses, which such a person is to be considered situated in endurance and patience. Text 185. The word "sa" is for emphasis, and the word "api" used to indicate and aggregate. Thus it is he understood that even dull creatures, birds and illiterates can also be situated in endurance and engage in Krishna's devotional service. Text 186. The word Atma is also used for a particular type of intelligence, since all living entities generally have some intelligence. More or less, they are included. Text 187. Everyone has some kind of intelligence, and one who utilizes his intelligence is called Ātmārāma. There are two types of Ātmārāmas. One is learned scholar and philosopher, and the other is an educated, illiterate, foolish person. Text 188. By the mercy of Krishna and by the association of devotees, one increases his attraction to and intelligence for pure devotional service. Therefore, one gives up everything, engages himself at the lotus feet of Krishna and his pure devotees. Text 189. I, Krishna, am the original source of everything. Everything emanates from me. Devotees who perfectly know this engage in my service with pure love and devotion. Purport. This is a quotation from Bhagavad Gita 10.8. Text 190. Translation. Women, fourth-class men, uncivilized hill tribes, hunters, and many others born in low families, as well as birds and beasts, can engage in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who acts very wonderfully and follow the path of devotees and take lessons from him. Although the ocean of nescience is vast, they can still cross over it. What then is the difficulty for those who are advanced in mental knowledge? This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.7.46. Lord Brahma said that when speaking to his disciple Narada about the wonderful characteristic of Lord Vishnu, simply by chanting the glories of Lord Vishnu, one can cross to the ocean of nescience, even though one may be low born. Text 191. Considering all these points, when one engages in the service of Krishna's lotus feet, Krishna gives one the intelligence by which he can gradually progress toward perfection in service of the Lord. Text 192. For those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Purport. This is a quotation from Bhagavad Gita 10.10, text 193. To be elevated to the platform of devotional service, the following 5 elements should be observed: association with devotees, engagement in the service of Lord Krishna, reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, and chanting of the holy names and residence in Vrindavan or Mathura. Text 194. One's dormant love for Krishna gradually awakens if one is a little advanced in one of these 5 items and is intelligent. Text 195. The power of these 5 principles is very wonderful and difficult to understand. Even without facing them, a person who is offenseless can awaken his dormant love for Krishna simply by being a little connected with him, a little connected with them. Purport. This verse is found in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.238, text 196. If a person is actually liberated and intelligent, he can advance and become perfect in devotional service, even if he has material desires and serves the Lord with some motive. Text 197. Whether one desires everything or nothing, or whether he desires to merge into existence of the Lord, he is intelligent only if he worships the Lord Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. By rendering transcendental loving service. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.10, text 198. Devotional service is so strong that when one engages in it, he gradually gives up all material desires and becomes fully attracted to the lotus feet of Krishna. All this is brought about by attraction to the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Text 199. Whenever Krishna is requested to fulfill one's desire, he undoubtedly does so, but he does not award anything which, after being enjoyed, still causes one to petition him again and again to fulfill further desires. When one has other desires but engages in Lord Krishna's service, Krishna forcibly gives one shelter at his lotus feet, where one will forget all these desires. Purport. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 5.19.27, text 200. Another meaning of the word Atma is one's characteristic nature. Whoever enjoys this particular type of nature is called Ātmārāma. Therefore, all living entities, be they moving or non-moving, are also called Ātmārāma. Text 201. The original nature of every living entity is to consider himself the eternal servant of Krishna, but under the influence of Maya, he thinks himself to be the body, and thus his original consciousness is covered. Text 202. In that case, by the word ta, the word eva is meant. The word api can be taken at the sense of aggregation. Thus the verse would read Ātmārāma and eva. That is, even all kinds of living beings worship Krishna. Purport. It is here mentioned that every living entity is Ātmārāma. Temporarily covered by the influence of Maya, the living entity serves his senses, which are represented as Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsaraya, lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy. In the material condition, all living entities are engaged in the sense gratification, but when they associate with devotees who follow the relative principles, they become purified and awaken to their original consciousness. These then attempt to satisfy the senses of Lord Krishna and engage in his devotional service. Text 203. Living entities include great personalities like the four Kumaras and also low-class foolish people, trees, plants, birds, and beasts. Text 204. The devotional service of Vyasa, Shaka, Shuka, and four Kumaras has already been well celebrated. Now let me explain how immovable living entities like the trees and plants engage in Lord's devotional service. Everyone is eligible to receive Krishna's mercy, including Vyasadeva, the four Kumaras, Shukadeva Goswami, and low-born creatures, trees, plants, and beasts. By Krishna's mercy, they are elevated, engaged in his service. Purport. This is confirmed by in Srimad Bhagavad Gita 9.32, where the Lord says, Mamhi Parta Viya Vashrikya Yapi Suya Syu Papa Yonaya Striyo Vaishyas Tatha Shudras Tiptiyanti Param Gatim. O son of Vrita, those who take shelter in me, though they be all over birds, women, Vaishyas, and Shudras, can attain the supreme destination. Everyone is eligible to become Krishna's devotee. One simply has to be trained according to the approved process. It is the work of Krishna's confidential devotees to turn everyone into Krishna Bhakta. If the confidential devotees do not take up the task of elevating everyone to Krishna consciousness, then who will do it? Those who claim to be devotees but do not engage in Krishna service to elevate our living creatures to Krishna consciousness are to be considered Kanishta Adhikaris, people at the lowest stage of devotional service. When one rises to the second platform of devotional service, his business is to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. Those who are active in Krishna consciousness, the movement should not remain in the neophyte stage, but should rise to the platform of preachers. The second platform of devotional service. Devotional service is so enchanting that even the first-class devotees, Uttama Adhikaris, also come down to the second platform to preach and learn their service to the Lord for the benefit of the whole world.
Stop sharing. Like it's done.
But it's still on YouTube.
You want to end the meeting?
Yeah.
Yes, I'll make the